3, 2, 1. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Sean Lowery Show, episode 98. And look who I have with me today, David Hecker. What's up, David?
What's up? Feels good to be back.
If you've been watching the podcast, episode 70 to 79, I did 10 episodes with Hecker because I liked it. Those are probably 10 of my favorite episodes because, you know, I have a lot of guests on. We talk about different things. I said someone to come on to talk about like CRISPR. It was really scientific. I have like a politics guy, Dave Rubin, next week. And our episodes are just kind of like fun. And I like doing it like every week with the same person. I still, after that experiment, I still think that I like doing that. So wanted to have you back on like before episode 100. And we're going to go the same format.
I love it. Things look a little different. Are you in the same building? You did a good job replicating the studio. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was almost identical.
Yeah, that wasn't the plan to replicate it. It's just like I'm waiting for this door to get in to build up like where the studio is going to be and I'm going to get a new set. Right now I'm in like the back corner of like my huge warehouse and we just kind of had the stuff that we had from before, so basically replicated it. So I don't think anyone even can tell the difference.
No, if you hadn't mentioned it before we started recording, I certainly wouldn't have. What's that picture? I see the elephant. What's the other picture?
Ray Charles that I had before, and then I had got New York City spotlight.
Okay, that's what it is. Okay, yeah, that was cool.
It's just a generic, like, you know, city boy thing.
a Yankee down in Dixie.
That's right. All right, so we're gonna do like our same format as we did before. We're gonna do we each did our homework, and that's what we used to do on the podcast. And we're doing our top 5 best moves. So it's just open for interpretation. It's open for interpretation. And then we're going to do another conversation, and we're going to do video of the week. We're going to do Brandon's Big Bites. We're going to do a news story. It's going to be fun, baby.
Yeah, I can't wait. It's like Groundhog's Day all over again. But I love thinking about them. This is an open-ended one. But for me, can I go first?
All right, yeah, let's start it. So top 5 moves. Number 1, you started off.
No brainer. It's probably not on your list, but we couldn't do this list without having the moonwalk as the number 1 move.
The moonwalk, like Michael Jackson dance move.
Yep. If anyone can pull it out at like a party or some sort of event where people are dancing, automatic showstopper. That person's like the coolest guy there. Nobody can do it like Michael, but people can get close. I've seen guys who like can really nail it. Everyone has their own rendition, and it's not cool if you have like a shitty rendition. But if you're good at it, it'll turn heads. You'll be the talk of it down. Do
you think it's like a talent, or like do you think if you practice a lot, you can get like a lot better at it?
I mean, you could get better for sure, but you're born with that.
I could never do the moonwalk. I could do the worm. I whip the worm out at weddings once in a while.
Worm was on my list as the number 2. That's like the poor man's moonwalk. Like anyone can do it. If you're like relatively athletic, you can pull off the worm. The thing about the worm is like it's very obnoxious because like the only time you can do it is if there's like a big circle and it's like, oh, look at, like, and I'm guilty of this. Oh, look at me, I can do the worm. But like, again, if you have a modicum of athleticism, you can do the worm. It's not,
it's definitely a little bit of like a obnoxious move because like everyone has to kind of look at you. You're on the floor. You're making like a big deal out of it.
But everyone always still like hoots and hollers. You always hear a whoop whoop. Somebody does the worm.
Yeah, you
and
can't be too
people
long.
Act like they've never seen it. Right.
But it is a good move to whip out at the right time at like a wedding or something. We were just at a wedding together. It was fun.
Mm-hmm.
There was no worm. There was no like huge dancing there till like the end of the wedding.
And the moonwalk is less disruptive, but again, if somebody could pull it off, and nobody's expecting Michael Jackson to be replicated, but if you can pull it off and it looks good, it's so smooth. You're just automatically
everyone will cheer for you. Yeah. So these top 5 moves, like we can really take this anywhere. Like dance moves like the first thing that comes to your head, but it can be like pretty much any way you interpret moves.
We'll see.
And that's why we like it. All right. So your number 1 is the moonwalk.
Moonwalk. Yep.
All right. I'm up for my first one. All right. So I did my homework. I thought about this a little bit. I'm kind of like I've been more proud of my list, but I'm gonna go a totally different route for my first move. All right, my move is Thomas Jefferson buys the Louisiana Purchase. Basically, like I love the story of how America started from like being kind of like New York to Washington D.C. and then we like spread across the country. It was like buys the Louisiana Purchase, and I have that He bought it in 1803, and it was 3 cents per acre, which is just like the most incredible real estate deal in all of history. An acre
I
is
wonder
so
what
big.
the adjustment. I know it is, but like adjusting for inflation, that would still be dirt cheap, right?
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, it was like $3 million then, and that's how much like a house is now, like a really like nice house. And he bought the whole. It goes from like down in Louisiana, like all the way up to like Montana, and he bought it from Napoleon Bonaparte, who was like fighting wars over there, and was like, God damn it, just take it. Yeah, and I always think it's interesting that like that's why New Orleans is kind of like they have like that French Cajun thing because like it was France, and that was like a good port city, and yeah, so it started there. There's the best real estate purchase like in all of history by the United States. And then we like got Texas in that like Texas war. I don't know how we like acquired all like the West Coast. Just kind of took it.
Didn't we just kind of take it? Yeah.
Yeah. But I love that manifest destiny. It was like sea to shining sea. Like you got to start at the one ocean, go to the other ocean. And it took a lot of history. But the Louisiana Purchase, a great move
It's a good
by
move.
Thomas Jefferson to add it to our country. And just 3 cents an acre. Like it's hard to imagine
That's
how big an acre is, but it's like massive. 3 cents.
Right.
Yeah. So
that's a great move. And obviously history, how weird would it be if that never, I mean, I'm sure history would have played out way, way differently, but imagine if like that was French.
Yeah. Like what if you're like, if you go out, if you're like driving out to California and you have to go through customs and it's like France, that would make no sense. Like we probably would have somehow got it anyway.
Yeah.
It just makes so much more sense. It makes so much more sense. But it was and it was also like a non-violent way to acquire the land.
Right.
So overall, just a great move. And it was totally different than your dance move. So that's why I wanted to counter there. That's my number one.
I like it. And he spent a lot of time in France. He was like in
Thomas Jefferson.
Was he like at opium dens and stuff? Yeah. Just
I don't know about the opium dens. I never heard about that.
I may have made it up, but
that might be Ben Franklin.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I love Monticello. All right. Yeah. Good,
all right.
Good call.
All right. That's my number one. All right. You're up.
All right. So I'll go. So I think I'll say Netflix, and maybe not what you're thinking, because obviously there was 2 really good moves. But I remember when I was maybe a sophomore or junior at Westchester, we were learning about Netflix in a marketing class about how they shot themselves in the foot because they had just opened, or they just split into streaming and the mail-in DVDs, which they had been known for at that time.
They started as mail-in DVDs,
right?
Which was pretty innovative at the time.
Good idea, yeah.
Great idea.
At the time, it was, but it was like bad timing for their business to start because the streaming stuff had just it was just about to happen, and obviously they're pioneers there. So it was initially thought of as terrible. I remember their stock plummeted because they started charging another whatever it is $8 a month for streaming versus the DVDs, because nobody really understood what this meant. But then it obviously took off. That's a good move. What I think is the better move is them like creating their own content. They produce so much content, and if you watch any of the award shows, Emmys, even the Oscars and stuff, Netflix dominates it now. And they were the first streaming service to create content. They must have an unlimited budget because every new show seemingly that comes out, like, when was the last time you got excited for a show that was coming out on like Fox or NBC or like any other network, but that wasn't a streaming service? Right. And Netflix was the first to do it. So that was huge. That changed the game completely.
Dude, they are an amazing company because because people said it was so dumb of them to like, okay, you have this DVD business. Now you're going to ruin your own business by doing the streaming thing. And not everyone has that. Like, you're idiots. So that was a great move. But you're even talking about no one else was thinking about making their own content. They were just like selling other people's movies, and like other people would create content and they would, distribute it on their streaming and their DVDs. But then at one point they were probably just like, yo, we should make our own shit.
And they're like, we don't have to answer to advertisers. We don't have like regulations, the FCC, whatever it is. We can give the people who are the best at creating things complete control. They can do whatever they want. And I think a lot of like producers, directors, actors, comedians, that's like the big draw to go to Netflix is like, if you want to go to Comedy Central or something, you have a billion suits telling you that you can or can't do this. Netflix is like, we won't even watch it. Just give it to us and we'll put it on.
Dude, that's incredible.
So
it is a big deal. Yeah. It's a big deal. It's a good move. And like, you think that's like so much work to, hire the actors and the cameras and like creating their own content, figuring out how to do it. But like you're already paying so much for somebody else's movie, and you don't have any control over it. And then they can curse, they can say fuck. It was kind of like HBO in a way, where they didn't have to worry about like advertisers pulling away or the FCC, but they can just take it to another level because people can watch it whenever. And I think the other big thing is they had all like the data. They knew like what people liked, what was getting the most like. So I think that's why what was the first one they did? I think it was House of Cards.
Yeah, that was. I think there was like a few of them, but House of Cards was like the keystone or whatever you want to call it.
I think the way that they came to that was they were like looked at the data and they were like, all right, people love political shows, people love like kind of murderous thrillers, people love like the bad guy that's kind of a good guy, that's like that whole back and forth, and they like put all that together into one show. And dude, Kevin Spacey is.
I was gonna say they were like, one thing that America likes and could never turn on is Kevin Spacey. That's what they said when that was happening.
And what did he do? He like diddled a 18-year-old boy or something like that, or 17-year-old.
I think he was younger than that. But the big thing also is like TV started becoming more desirable. Like you remember, I think in Entourage they made jokes about it. Like somebody pitched Vinny Chase to do a TV show, and they were like, so insulted by it.
It's so insulted.
Then, like True Detective happened. I think that was like the turning point because
Detective.
Matthew McConaughey won an Oscar,
same kind of
and an Emmy
thing.
Mm-hmm. But that was, and then like, so you're saying like he had just won an Oscar. You're saying like the biggest name in Hollywood is doing a TV show, and these limited series are now like everyone's doing them. Tom Hanks does a TV show. Everyone does TV now because
what's Tom Hanks' show?
Some show on Apple TV where he's like
a
submarine captain or something. I haven't either, but all the big actors are doing TV now. Yeah. For the most part, like Kate Winslet's on that show on HBO.
Yeah. Yo, with House of Cards, did you ever watch like the last season without Kevin Spacey?
I think we stopped watching after like 3 seasons.
Oh, dude, I've watched them all, and then like I get to that, and it's like, he's not in it. Like it sucks.
Yeah.
Like, he's a great actor, man. Like I know, like just acting. I'm not saying he's a great person, but and it's funny that like the thing he got in trouble for is kind of like
something that
how he's in the show, you know, how he is like kind of like powerful and kind of like bad, but like intriguing. Like it's kind of like what he was doing to this like whatever this boy was.
Do you remember when he put
I guess he's gay.
That apology? Right. Well, that was like
he was like, I'm sorry that I'm
tried to
gay
use that to his
like
defense. But I have a couple thoughts here. But he made an apology video that was like in character as Frank Underwood.
Yeah, I saw that.
It was so weird.
It was creepy as hell, dude. He was at like a kitchen counter. He was at a kitchen counter, right? And I saw a video. It was like all like the Easter eggs that were in it or something. And it was like a weird apology. It wasn't really an apology. It was kind of like, I don't really know what his point was of that.
Who is? Yeah, I was like, who is this guy? What are you doing right now? Like, why are you in character, or are you not in character? I don't know. But he tried to do the whole thing like, yeah, this was like statutory rape, and I took advantage of a young person, but like I'm gay, so like how brave of me, you know what I mean? Everyone's like, no, we don't care about that.
Dude, that was like 10 years ago, man. Like you can't just
way too late. You missed the boat.
It's like, damn it! It was a good try. It was a good try.
This is his only card, but he seemingly has done irreparable damage. I see no way out of this cancelhood from him.
Yeah, I mean. If he ever comes back to a show, like I'll watch it because
seems like
a great actor.
All around a shitty person, but good actor.
Kind of like his character in the show. Yeah. Perfect. So yeah, great move by Netflix, creating their own original content. I agree 100%. All right, I'll stick in the same like kind of area of business. This one's like pretty simple, and just Facebook buys Instagram, right? They bought it for $1 billion in 2012, and today it's $20 billion of their annual revenue.
Wow.
Like, it was just an incredible purchase. And I've been going through some shit with Facebook the past 2 weeks. Basically, like, been a terrible 2 weeks for me because got my account suspended because I didn't have a personal account as this dumb, like, technical reason. And it's really hurt my business. But it's crazy how important they are for, like, an advertiser. Like, I've run ads on TikTok, Snapchat, Twitter, everywhere that you run ads. Our email list has been keeping us alive, but like without Facebook and Instagram, it's such an important part of your business. And like if they didn't buy Instagram, if they didn't make that move, they would definitely not be as powerful, because some people who aren't as like informed and they're like hear about Facebook stock or Facebook, they're like, who goes on Facebook anymore?
Right.
First of all, a lot of people. Yeah,
I
a lot
think
of
it's
people
still the
still
most
do.
popular social media, like
Yeah,
in
I
terms
wouldn't
of
be
daily
surprised at
users.
all.
Yeah,
Yeah, but like they forget that they own Instagram too, and
right.
I've always loved it because I can run ads that go to both platforms. You get the data from both. You can use the audiences from both. Right now, I hate it because I wish they were separate so I could like run ads separately and not be controlled by one. But dude, they're a powerful company, and everyone knows that. But my like real life example of how powerful they are, it's like without them, it goes down. And it's because they made that purchase of Instagram. They bought it for $1 billion, which is pennies, and then they also bought WhatsApp for $18 billion. And I don't know, man. Do you use WhatsApp?
No, but I know that a lot. Like my cousins in Iceland use it. A lot of people in Europe use it.
I think it's really good for international communication. So like if you go away and you want to communicate with your family, I think WhatsApp's really good for that.
Right. I did use it for like when this was, I don't know, like 10 years ago, probably. My friends from home, we had a fantasy football league. And for some reason, like their group chat was started there because we didn't really, it was brand new. Nobody knew what it was. But I haven't used it in 10 years.
Yeah. Well, it's better than having a group message if one person has an Android, because I won't use this as my one, but I had this in this category. Another great move is Apple making their text messages blue.
Right.
Because
Genius.
like, dude, it really kills your conversation when someone has a green one. Like some of the times you can get by with it, but like it'll split up in other conversations. You won't be able to send it. You don't know if you can get something. So like that's another one there that I won't use as one of mine, but in the same category.
Huge.
Apple making their messages blue, and Facebook buying Instagram, dude, is
that ecosystem that Apple created is huge. Like I bet if you would ask like 1,000 people that have iPhones that aren't like techie people, why do you have an iPhone? I guarantee 75% or more would say like, well, like the iMessage is nice, like that, and that's it.
Dude, I mean, it's also nice that it links up to my computer, which means I have a Mac. Like the ecosystem, right?
Really, really,
and dude, and that allows them to be fucking dicks by changing the charger for no reason, so you have to buy a new one. It's
just a matter of time.
I'll do it though.
Portless, where there's no plug-in anything for iPhone. It's because now for the iPhone 12, like it's first of all it's a USB-C, so like the old chargers don't even work anymore. But also, they're like they got rid of the headphone jack. And it seems like they're going the way of getting rid of all their ports, and people are gonna complain just like they did when they changed the headphone jack, and now everyone has AirPods. So
yeah. So Facebook and Apple, they're actually fighting right now. They're in a huge battle. There's like a new Apple update, and like it's not allowing like advertisers to get all the information. Like
it asks you have to give permission.
I'm curious, very curious, what your answer would be. Like, what do you do when it asks you?
So I say no, don't track, but I don't care. Like we've had this conversation before. I don't really care.
Yeah. So hit allow, man. Hit allow.
Don't like why if
you
I
get
have
better
a choice,
ads.
but I don't go on Facebook much. I guess Instagram. Maybe, but I don't really want the ads. I don't really want to buy
that's the thing. That's the thing that's annoying to me. Like no one really cares, but like if it gives you the option, it gives you the option, people are like, no, don't allow. Like don't allow. I'm just not trying to add more trouble to my life, and that's really hurting.
But it's also not just about it's not only ads that they collect your data for. You know what I mean? Like they also can sell that information that just like feels a little bit weird, and like
that's the way it affects you. That's the way it affects you is the ads. Like, but I would love to know the percentage of people since that update came out that clicked allow or clicked don't allow. I bet it's
been significantly. Like I didn't even think. I just said like don't allow. You know what I mean?
What do you think the percentage is?
70% of people. Like I it would be weird for somebody to say allow. They'd have to be like.
Yeah, I say allow because I like preach that because like I'm a digital advertiser and I know it's important, and also that's pretty much the only reason. Like it's much more my instinct said to hit don't allow because like something pops up you just don't allow because like so I don't know. Facebook and Apple powerful, and the move is Facebook buys Instagram. Great move.
Also, what I'll add is I think Facebook. Like Yahoo was trying to buy Facebook for like $1 billion, which seemed crazy at the time, and they turned that down. So that was another good move. But say what you will about the Zuck, he
like as much shit as I've gone through with them recently, like I can't talk that much shit because I need them. Like they're awesome. That's why I want them. That's why it's so important.
Integral to your success, right?
Yeah. So it sucks, but it's the truth.
Right. All right.
You're up.
So I'm going to take this in a much different direction.
All right.
So good move. I want to say like taking charge at a restaurant is always like a good move. So a couple of examples that I thought of, like ordering appetizers for the table, always a good move. When you're like with a group of people and the waiter comes over and everyone's kind of looking at each other and nobody really knows, and somebody's like, hey, Sean, why don't you start us off? Like somebody at the table doing that, and then being like the go-to guy, that person will always be handed the check. Though if you order a bottle of wine, they'll come and you have to pretend that you know what you're switch it around.
Oh yeah, that's good.
Always a good move, I think. So like being
you're saying in a social setting,
yep,
make yourself kind of stand out by taking charge with a waiter.
All of those are good examples. But I mean, without consulting with anyone, ordering an appetizer for the table, I think is always a good move. Like it kind of sets you a peg above everyone, whether or not you mean it that way. But like, oh, this guy's making decisions for the whole group,
and like everyone's probably hungry, but like they don't want to order an app that like no one else wants. It's just like it sets the tone for like, let's
get some wings, get some wings and the thing of nachos. We'll pick at it, and then and then come back in 10 minutes and we'll be ready. And then when the guy comes back, like Sean, why don't you start us off? And it's just like a good move. It always makes me feel good about myself when I do it. So
that is a good move. Just setting that up. I think it's so funny when you order a bottle of wine and they come, they open it and they pour a little bit in the cup and they have you sip it to like prove that you like it. Right. Do you think anyone's ever like been like, oh, ugh.
I know.
Like, no, thank you. No. And then they send it. They already opened it.
Send it back. Like that's more like a power move is doing that. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. It's not to my liking. But what percentage of the people that get the taste, the sample, like know anything about wine? You know what I mean?
Nobody knows anything about wine.
But you have to. The move there is
to be like I know about wine. Right,
switch it around.
Yeah.
Switch it. Yeah, it's good. Thank you. You know what I mean? Like everyone has to act like they've been there before.
Yeah. I love something that you said one time. It was like we were talking about golf, and you're like, dude, nobody's good at golf. Like nobody's good at golf. And I feel like it's the same thing with wine. Like people love golf, people love wine, conversations, things people do. But like no one knows if wine's good. Like you might like red or white. But no one really knows.
Nobody really knows. People like love to think they do and love to pretend they know, but nobody really knows. You know what I mean?
Except like the guy who goes to the driving range and like he practices all day. He's like, yeah, I'm good. Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, but you shoot an 80, and I am terrible. I never play. I shoot like an 89. So like nobody's good at
plus golf. If someone says they shot at 80 and they're like, they're probably lying because the whole mulligan and the whole gimmies and the ball rolling down the green, and you're like, it's a 3, it's a 4 or 5. It's like, dude, no, it was rolling off the green. It would have took you like 4 shots to get it back.
That's or like you putt.
Or like you get like a 15 because you hit in the woods like 3 times, and you're just like, all right,
an 8.
That's an 8.
Yep.
Like no, dude, that would be like a 16. It's a big difference. I always like to play it out, so my score is always a little high. The PGA tournament is in Kiwa, right near my house, and Shelby's parents are in town, and they went to go see the. Apparently, if the wind is bad, it's the hardest course in the country because it's like right by the beach and it's really windy.
I saw somebody shot it into a trash can, and I got like right at the same time. I got like 4 different notifications on my phone because it was like ESPN, like all these different apps were sending. I don't care about this.
That was the headline they chose from. That just proves how headlines are just trying to be like, oh, into a trash can. That's something I would click on to kind of want to see.
And they all said the same thing. It's like so and so hit the ball into a trash can, gives the ball to a fan afterwards. What? Who cares?
It's like it should be a hole in one.
Right.
That's a good one. A power move.
That was like the one headline was like, talk about a wacky hole in one or something like that. So you could write these headlines, I guess.
Oh man! All right, but your power move is taking control at a restaurant in a social setting and just setting yourself up to be the man for the rest of the night, where people lean on you, gives you a little credibility. It's a good move. It's a good social move. It's something like Larry David would like discuss or something. All right, where am I going to go next? All right, so I got. All right, I'll give you the category and you pick, and then I'll go from there. I got 1 politics and 1 sports. Sports? Okay. So I know we're doing the best moves, right? And so my best move is Tom Brady goes to the Bucs to win the Super Bowl. Cool, right? But actually, like, I have a one that I want to talk about that is more like the worst move.
Okay.
And I think it's something that everybody forgot about. And I think it's freaking insane. So you know how like LeBron and Chris Bosh and D Wade were on the same team, and then KD went to the Warriors, which was insane, and then now you got James Harden, KD, and Kyrie together, like all these crazy teams. Dude, in 2012, Chris Paul was supposed to be traded to the Lakers, and it didn't go through. And Chris Paul has become my favorite player in the NBA. Like when he was on the Thunder last year and this year on the Suns, like, I love him, man. He's so intense. He's so good. He makes every team better. And he could have been with Kobe, and they would have won. They would have won, dude. And I looked in the history of it. He was 26-year-old, four-time All-Star. Requested the trade from the Hornets, and they reached an agreement for a 3-team deal. So it would have been for Lamar Odom, Kevin Martin, Luis Scola, and Goran Dragic, and a 2012 first rounder. And dude, like Goran Dragic is good, and like that was I think it was kind of a fair like. Whatever, teams are allowed to do that, but David Stern just denied it because he said, I did it because I was protecting the then Hornets. To this day, everyone always asks me, why did you keep Chris Paul from going to the Lakers? I didn't keep him. I just didn't approve the trade. No team sells or trades a future Hall of Famer without the owner signing off, and I was the owner's rep.
Right.
But it seems so, it's such a
the thing
bad
is that
move
he
for the
wanted
NBA.
to trade, so he was going to leave anyway. So he ended up leaving in free agency.
Where'd he go next? Went to the Clippers next.
Yeah.
And I think that was free agency.
So like you kind of screwed him over because they would have had assets and a pick, and now they're like, oh well, he wants to leave. He's going to choose to leave anyway. So you shot him in the foot. Yeah,
and it just seems so ridiculous.
I remember that
because with all the super teams that have been put together since then, why was it unfair?
This was in 2012.
I love Kobe, 2012, and like the Lakers ended up getting like. Dwight Howard and Steve Nash, who was injured, and Kobe got hurt. They tried to put something together.
That was much later, wasn't it?
Yeah, like that was like they didn't get Chris Paul.
Steve Nash, right?
And then that was like the next year or something. They like got those guys and they tried to make a run with Kobe after he won the 2008-2009 championship. Dude, like I just love Chris Paul, and I wish he would have had that chance to play with Kobe. It would have been so fun to watch both of their personalities together. They're fierce, intense, with the on-ball player and the off-ball player, like in their primes. It was fair. It was more than fair if you look at the modern-day teams, and it would have been awesome. And I just think it was a bad move for the NBA by David Stern, and I kind of changed a little bit there with a bad move. But dude, Tom Brady going to the Bucks, winning the Super Bowl, dude, what an incredible move. I know it's been talked about over and over. That's why I didn't want to go deep into it. But yeah, it
was. I remember like when the whisper started happening that like, the Bucks, like it seemed so bizarre. Like what the Bucks? The Bucks are
so random.
They hadn't made the playoffs in like 10 years. Why? Then you start putting the pieces together. Oh, Bruce Arians
good
is
receivers,
like, great receivers, good defense. Bruce Arians is like a just offensive guru, and he'll let Tom Brady kind of call the shots. Really good move. Bad move on the Patriots' part. I guess you have to choose Belichick or Brady, and somebody's got to win the like pissing match, And I guess if it's coach or quarterback, 43-year-old quarterback, whatever.
Right.
You gotta choose the coach. So I don't begrudge them, but what a move,
dude! Incredible. And what else is cool about that? He lives in Derek Jeter's house.
Yeah,
I think that's funny.
I almost had a Derek Jeter move on my list, but we'll talk about that afterwards. Okay. All right, cool. So this is another different type of move, but I would say the move into your own place for the first time is like just an unbelievable move.
I like how you did. I like how you looked at this question. Like you went at like a different way.
So like move it, yeah. So like the move, not in the dorms, like your first apartment or house, whatever it is in college, like independence. It just feels. It's just such a great move, like you up until that point, you kind of always like anticipate, look forward to it. You get some more independence. You have your own place. And it just feels right. You can have people over whenever you want. You don't have to worry about like anything.
Wait, you said the dorms. Are you including the dorms? Because that's most people's like first move.
Correct. I'm saying your first place like after the dorms. Dorms are great and everything, but it's you don't have that independence that you have.
Right. You still have like the door lady and like people have to go through the hallways and stuff. So you're talking about basically for most people like your first house at college off campus, which is most people's first. Dude, that is an amazing thing.
It's a great move. Yeah, it's just like a feeling that is kind of indescribable, and it's one of those things where you anticipate it, and then it like lives up to exactly what you're hoping because you're like, oh man, like I can do whatever I want.
It is such an incredible feeling. And when we were in college, I was the first one to move into the frat house out of like our pledge class, and you guys were there all the time. So I know it's like to like have people over whenever you want.
Yeah, like it's either the move is either your own move or a close friend moving into the right place, because then it's basically the same thing for me.
So just that feeling, dude. It's what's better, to be a kid or adult? Like, it's so much better to be an adult because you can choose your life. I had this anxiety expert on my podcast recently, and he said something I never really noticed. And he was talking about anxiety as a kid, and a lot of people can relate to being really anxious, 12 to 17, awkward years, puberty. But he made the point of when you're a kid, you can't leave if you want. One of the reasons it's hard is because if you hate all the kids in your class, you have to keep going back to that class. Right, and I never thought about it like that. I always thought that kids, it sucked to be a kid because you're just learning about the world and you're not really have your self well developed. You're going through puberty, you're growing up, you're learning, and you take things more harshly. You haven't built up any internal strength against bullies or anything. But when he said that, I was like, damn, that's such a good point. If you're an adult, you can get your own house and get your own set your own life up as you want. Move out of a company, move, and as a kid you can't do that. And that's why your move is such a good move and such a good feeling, because you're
starting to kind of plant those seeds. You're starting to it's almost you're restarting. You know what I mean? From that point, it's a rebirth almost. From that point on is completely different chapter of your life. Even if you're still going to school, whatever it is, a completely different. You'll never go back to the way it was before.
Right?
You can move back home, and that's obviously there's never anything wrong with that. That's almost a great move too, because then you get laundry, someone's cooking for you. You know what I mean? But it's always a good move.
Good move, your first move. I agree. It's an incredible feeling. And then after that, moving kind of the feeling's still good, but the actual moving's always a bitch.
Right.
I've been dealing with that a lot lately, but all right, it's a good one. All right, back to me.
Yep.
All right, what are we on? Is this number 4?
I think so.
Number 4. All right.
Yeah. 3 or 4. I don't know.
All right, so I got a more recent political one, and it's Joe Biden, the 2020 election, right? Just boring his way into victory and saying nothing, and literally winning an election by not doing anything. And I thought it was bad at the time. I was like, what is this guy doing? He's not doing anything. He's not campaigning, or he's not making any news. He's just literally doing nothing.
Right.
And it worked. It was a great move. It was what people wanted, because Trump was so much annoying people.
The opposite,
people just wanted him to be the opposite. And I didn't think it was a good move at the time, but he won. And I thought it was a great move. It was a great political, wise, strategic, safe, political move. And the coronavirus helped him because he didn't have events, and then he had the excuse of not having big crowds, because that did always make Trump look good, to have those big crowds. It made him look cool, look at this crowd. And then Hillary would be a little gymnasium, and it would just kind of look bad, and the fact that so that helped him, but the fact that he just did nothing and just tweeted once a day, didn't make any big news, didn't get in front of the cameras that much, didn't do a lot of press conferences, and he's basically was saying this is how I'm going to be president. And that's what he's been doing. And I feel it's been good for the country. It's just been a breath of fresh air where not everyone has to obsess over politics every day.
Right, exactly.
And it was a hell of a move. It was a good move. It was just boring old Joe. And it was a strategy that I don't think they teach in political science classes. All right, just don't do anything. Do nothing.
Yeah, I like how you said that, though. Bored his way into office, because that's exactly it. And I mean, I think you hit it on the head. That's exactly what people were looking for, because Trump was so far the other way. It's I just don't want to have to worry about this all the time, or even hear about it all the time.
Yeah.
It's a breath of fresh air. So
yeah,
good move.
Do you think Biden's been doing a good job?
I don't like the whole, not to get too into current events, but still backing the Israelis, giving a bunch of money to the Israelis for weapons and stuff during this crisis.
I don't know much about all that. Give me a quick.
So, do you know why Palestine and Israel don't like each other?
Well, they're fighting over that land,
right?
The Holy Land.
So there's the Israeli army and government is now just taking it. So bombing civilians, women, children, kicking them out of their homes, destroying their homes, their buildings, and just basically taking the land, the Gaza Strip, over through force and creating this. It's really sad. It's really fucked up. And Israel is obviously one of the United States biggest allies. It's a very rich country, And what they're doing is like just brutal. And and like still backing it. I think we gave him like hundreds of billions of dollars like this week, and just not. I don't know. He hasn't handled that well, but he hasn't really done a whole lot. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, even that, like, if somebody was like Trump, and Biden was like, oh, he's going to be a socialist, he's going to be a left wing like nut.
No,
he's going to be.
Not.
He's not,
no,
and that's good. I like that. I like that. He's kind of living up to what he was, a boring centrist. And I like, dude, I'm a political centrist. So like, he's basically kind of like my party. And like, he's not a wild socialist. Like, he's not like being ridiculous about anything.
No.
So yeah, that's my move. Born his way into office. Didn't see it coming. Was very surprised.
I like it.
And I think it was a good move.
I like it. Yeah. Great move. All right, this is I think a quick one, but then I learned about this when I was looking things up for the podcast, but I didn't know. So in like the 80s, when Star Wars was just becoming a thing, so George Lucas took a $500,000 pay cut in his salary to direct one of the early films in exchange for all of the merchandising rights to Star Wars. And so he took a $500,000 pay cut. This is before Star Wars was what it is now. And after the sixth film, so this was like 2010, 2012 or so, they had eclipsed $20 billion in merchandising revenue. So he gave up $500,000. Obviously, he's not making $20 billion off of it, but he's
right.
generationally 10 times over wealthy. He was able to, now Lucasfilms is enormous, and it all started with this seed where he was like,
Disney,
I'll bet on myself. Yeah. And I'll take the pay cut to have the merchandise.
Dude, that's a great one. I was actually like, if I did a little more research, I was trying to find something like that, like a cool little like move. And dude, that is such a good one. And I actually heard this on like the same realm. Sean Astin, Rudy from Lord of the Rings. He was like Sam or whatever, one of the hobbits. Everyone else in the Lord of the Rings, they took like a deal that was like based upon the revenues, how much they get paid, and like he was the only one that took like the money
really?
up front. Wow. Yeah, he took the money, so he made so much less money than everyone else in the Lord of the Rings movies.
How could you like? They have to have known that was going to be huge. It's one of the most popular book series that's ever existed. I'm
sure he made a lot of money, and maybe he needed it up front, and maybe he got offered a little more than anyone else because he was the most famous actor.
Yeah,
like
Elijah Wood
was famous from it though. Elijah Wood's more famous now.
But he was like a child star. He was like young in movies. So he was really young. He didn't have a chance to be like a star. But yeah, Sean Astin was.
I mean, it was post Rudy, post Goonies. Like he was probably the biggest. So maybe he got a little more. Maybe that was part of it. But that was a bad move. But I love stuff like that when people bet on themselves and it pays off massively. I mean, George Lucas has billions and billions and billions, and now Disney owns it. And I mean, the Star Wars movies are great, and he did a crappy job on like the second
series, yeah,
the 1, 2, and 3, which were actually released as 4, 5, and 6. But
he did a bad job, but he made a boatload of money on all. Like you could release the worst movie of all time. If it's a Star Wars movie, it's going to make $1 billion. You know what I mean?
And the merchandising that probably includes toys,
clothes, dolls.
Toys. I had so many
Did you have a
toys
lightsaber
growing up?
Yeah, of course.
I had a lightsaber. I had a
Millennium
huge
Falcon.
bucket.
Me too.
I had a huge bucket of all these Star Wars toys.
Yeah, me too.
I love Star Wars as a kid. Damn. So George Lucas got a little cut of all those toys I bought, and he bet on himself. Yeah, what a move!
He had the rights to it all. He had all the merchandising rights.
Damn, and he only took a $500,000 pay cut, which seems like a lot, definitely. But this Jack, that's not. He's worth billions now. Like, wow, what a move! What a move! All right, I got my last category of pop culture.
Okay.
I got two. I'll just kind of do them both. I'll do the first one.
I think we have two more. I think this is
okay.
Number 4
I got one more I could do. All right, this is number 4 for me. All right, so that Drake song, "In My Feelings," it's like, Kiki, do you love me? Are you riding? So that was popular maybe 5 years ago, and it was actually this guy Shiggy, but that little dance, there was that little dance they had for it, and it went viral, right? And it was actually this guy Shiggy, and I have, after hugely increasing the song's popularity through social media, Drake actually gave Shiggy $250,000 for helping him make it like the #1 song. So this guy Shiggy like made a dance to the song, and that like started like the TikTok world. Like that was the first like little short like 30-second dance that like everyone was kind of doing on social media. It was kind of like silly, like easy. Like yes, there was like the Macarena before, and like there was like some things like that, maybe like the electric slide, but like this like brought in the era of like the 30-second long like screen like
social media
TikTok dance. Yeah. And
that's true.
And I remember one thing I thought was funny was when the Carter 5 came out, like Lil Wayne's most recent like studio album that took like 50 years to come out, and like there was all these old people on it. He had one song on it that he tried to like get a little dance going for it.
I didn't
No, it never caught on. It never caught on. It was like the one song was like Showtime. It was like I don't know. I'm not. You're probably not gonna get it through my beat, the song. But like Lil Wayne like tried to do the same thing. It didn't work. But like that move, which I guess was kind of unintentional, and a lot of the best things that happen like are unintentional sometimes. But like with Drake with that song and that guy Shiggy like creating that little dance, it made that song popular. Drake has had the most #1 hits of all time, so he's like maintained relevance over the past 5 years since then, and like that started the craze of like the little TikTok songs,
TikTok dances, yeah.
TikTok dances. And TikTok's a huge platform now, and that was the move, and I think that was like so cool.
Good one.
And,
I like that.
Yeah, and on that pop culture note, because I do have another one after this. MGK going punk, I thought was just a good move.
Yeah,
like you didn't see it coming.
You know how I feel. I think you know how I feel about like the pop punk music. Very, very good. I do not care for him in the slightest as a rapper.
What?
Like
I thought you kind of liked him as a rapper, but liked him more of the punk. I love him in both.
I would almost say that I wouldn't say despise, but I certainly dislike him as a rapper.
Really?
Yeah, but I love that album. I can't deny it.
And it came out of nowhere, so it was a good move. Like just change. I like people who change their careers. I was actually trying to think of like other people who like changed their careers that people didn't see coming as a good move. But that's the best one I could think of.
Childish Gambino, like he no longer like his albums are not like real. I don't even know if I'd call it hip hop anymore. It's more like R&B. It's like musical. But yeah, was not a fan. I love that, and I know that he's always been. Like I saw an interview with him years and years ago where he was talking about how much he loves this band called Anti-Flag that I used to listen to, and it was like, didn't see that coming.
He's definitely a man of like many talents: acting, singing, rapping. He's the man.
Right, and if he's writing those songs, which I don't know that he is, but if he is, then yeah, a great songwriter too. So yeah, it's a good call. I think that was 5 actually. Now that I'm counting them all, so that was it. But that's a good list. All
right. I mean, you got any more like honorable mentions?
I do.
All right, roll them out.
Buying a round of drinks, always a good move.
Okay.
Giving out full-size candy bars.
I did that. I did that in my first house for Halloween.
And then these are maybe my favorite too. Tipping somebody by like slyly folding up like money and shaking their hand like the busboy, or you know what I mean. That's always feels like a good move. And then you'll know this one, but. I have to write it down because it's a little hard to explain, but like a respectful but tongue-in-cheek handshake after beating somebody in like a 1v1 competition and talking smack all game. So like you're in their ear, you're chirping the entire game, you come out on top, and then afterwards you go up to them, look them in the eye, give them a respectful handshake. That's maybe the most satisfying thing in the world.
Do you think that is an equally good move from the loser and the winner, or you're saying just from the winner's perspective?
No, this isn't like a
sportsmanship.
This is almost like a bad sportsmanship thing to do. You know what I mean? Like you've been like yapping and been such a poor sport the entire time and just like chirping and pecking at him. And then when it's over, then you like go up to him like all's good sport, and expect a handshake out of him. It's one of my favorite things to do because I feel like I'm a great trash talker, especially in like an event like that. And nobody ever wants that. You know, it's the most. It's almost the most disrespectful thing you could possibly do.
And you're kind of like implying that, hey, if I were to lose, I would shake your hand, and I would be a good sport.
I mean, come on,
like, that's what you should be doing, because I just.
It's like you're like a little puppy dog. You know what I mean? It's like it could be like I'll shake your hand, of course, but it's that feeling never gets old to me. So whether it's basketball, any one-on-one competition, but
When's the last time you like talk trash? I mean, we don't get the opportunity as much anymore.
I mean, anytime that I'm doing one-on-one competitions, it's been a while. Yeah, I play hockey. I still talk a lot of junk in hockey. But if it's like a video game, I don't really play video games though. I don't know. It doesn't happen much anymore. But I would say I'm putting myself up against pretty much anybody when it comes to talking junk.
Yeah, and I like I don't really like the handshake one because I feel like you're risking like a bad transaction. Like if it goes weird, like you got the money in your hand and they like give you a fist bump and you're like, I feel like that one's all right. But I like buying the round of drinks, and I find that similar to like tipping, like early in the night at like open bar or something. Like basically, you're putting yourself in as like I'm good the rest of the night. Like
you check the box.
Yeah, you check the box that like I'm a sharing guy. I started, and it kind of relates
also
to the
start
restaurant
the trend.
Thing. Right,
when you do
the trend.
The drinks in,
right. It's a good. It's kind of like I don't know if you're playing like pickup basketball and you start like passing a lot in the beginning. It's like all right, like this guy's not a ball hog. You start like building rapport and the first one to buy a round of drinks. That's what you said, right?
Yep.
That's a good one. That's a good move.
Yeah.
Damn, I like how you looked at it with like the little social stuff because I didn't really look at it like that. The other ones I had were like I think we talked about before, but just the Redskins changing to the Washington Football Team. I love that name. The NFL Red Zone taking commercials out. I'm sure we talked about that before. And I have JFK saying, let's go to the moon and like just setting that in stone. And then like it happened at the end of the decade. He's like, he said, we're going to do it by the end of the decade. All right, but those are some good moves.
Really good. There was one more. I almost said that like the Raiders moving to Las Vegas.
I actually almost said that too.
The NHL moving to Vegas. They're the first one to do it. And now Vegas is probably going to get the Oakland A's because they basically have to either build a new stadium or move. And it's like, why not? Why wouldn't you have players love playing there? It's like players probably love going there on road trips, and it's like a big city. Why not? I love the idea of like expanding to new cities with sports.
I heard that the Vegas football arena is going to like basically be like a casino, and like you can get like bottle service and get like while like watching the game. It's going to be like
it's open.
Casino Vegas event.
Yeah, I think it exists already. I think they played there this year.
This year was weird because of the whole virus and shit.
Right.
So,
but yeah,
good moves all around. If anyone's listening, leave in the comments any good moves you can think of. But I think it's one of the way that we could interpret it. So, all right, good moves, baby.
Awesome. So, I was I talked to you about this a little bit, but my daughter just turned 1, but 2 weeks ago, there's on the 8th of May, which is crazy and hard to believe. But she's getting to the age she's like coherent, and she's not talking yet, but she understands things and she's starting to communicate. She's getting to the age where like we have to start like disciplining her, not yelling at her, but like correcting right from wrong. And we're like I was talking to Lauren about it. It just got us thinking about how many lies we were told as kids by our parents. Sometimes to like trick you into behaving better, sometimes just like, and we went down this rabbit hole and I was like, oh my God, there's so many of these like little lies. And I don't know, I didn't know if this was like just me or if that's how your childhood was too.
Yeah, dude, I love thinking about stuff like that because it has to do with like the human brain, like how you develop. And we've talked before. I don't even have this one. I purposely left this off, but like Santa Claus, like, but it's like Santa's watching. That's like an example of one.
Right.
But basically, like lies that you're told as a kid, and that like turn out not to be true. I love having like realizations like that. Like, oh my God, like,
right.
I got like so I have like a little list of them. Like, here's what I feel like. I want to see if you agree with this because this is one that used to be, I think, like the biggest deal, and it actually happened to me like the other day, and it's something that I think people, especially kids, like over freak out about. It's like, all right, if glass breaks on the ground, I just don't think it's that big a deal. Like, there's like you sweep it up. There's like 8 big pieces, and then you just sweep up the rest, and it's gone. But people like freak out when glass breaks on the ground, and like people always think they're gonna step on it, or like weeks later they'll be like, "Oh, there might be some glass in that spot. Some glass broke." Like, I feel like
it's bad timing for you. Really bad timing for you because I stepped on a piece of broken glass this week. It was terrible. I swear I could show you my foot. I won't, but this week that happened to me. Otherwise, I'd probably agree with you.
Do you know like what glass broke? That happened?
It had broken. Like actually, we had somebody cleaning that. We have like a house cleaner, and one of the lighting fixtures broke the broke like a lighting fixture. And she's like, don't worry, we cleaned it all up, whatever. And obviously walking around their house barefoot. And we have, it's one of our little mats to the outside door. And hidden there was a piece of glass. And I stepped on it and I was like, it hurt so bad.
All right, I guess
blood
bad
everywhere.
timing.
Yeah, really bad.
But just like the amount of freaking out that people put around it. Oh my God, there's kids around. Like, don't go in this room the rest of the week.
So
like,
I was going to say, this seems more like a Jean Marie thing where it's like specific to you.
My mom.
Like, did she set this like crazy?
I feel like I've seen it in multiple places. Like,
well, I think breaking glass is like something to be careful about. But was
be
there
careful?
like
but there's like 5 big pieces. You pick them up and then you sweep the rest, and then like it's okay. Like I feel like people like make it last like a huge deal. Go in the other room. Go outside. Don't come back in for like 2 hours. Glass broke, and like so like as a kid you're like glass breaking's like you're gonna die. Like I don't know. That was just like
that's a funny
one that stuck out to me. Like.
I think a big one that a lot of people...
those feelings you have as a kid, like that.
Right.
That's like a big part of this. Like you think is something so emotional.
Right.
What were you gonna say?
Were you told as a kid that like turning the light on in the backseat of a car was illegal? Because I was told that, and I've come to realize that a lot of people, their parents would say like, if you're on the highway, like turn that off, we're gonna get pulled over. When it's just it's annoying to them, and they don't want Yeah, it's not illegal. They just don't. Your parents just don't want you like futzing around. Like, why do you have the light on? Turn that off.
Yeah,
they probably want you to go to sleep.
It's not that annoying as a driver to have it on.
I think it's more like the implication of why does my kid need to have the light on? Like, what do they
just
do?
Go to bed.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
Because that is actually I feel like everyone can kind of relate to this one.
Or like, and then once I found out it wasn't illegal, it was like it's really hard to see. Like out there.
It is kind of hard to see. Like, wait, what do you mean it's hard to see? Like, as the passenger?
As the driver. Like, it's hard to see. With using your mirror, which I don't find to be true. But whatever. I don't know why. But I guess I'll find out relatively soon. But parents hate when their kids have the light on in a car. But that was a big one. And then also like sitting too close to the TV, or if you make a funny face, it's going to stick. That was like a big one. Why?
It's gonna stay that way. I remember I used to cross my eyes all the time, like to my little cousins, and making faces like I was like 7, and like I actually thought my face was gonna stay that way, like because someone told me that. So I would like not do it for too long. I would like, make sure, and then I would like look in the mirror to make sure I was fine. It's not gonna stay like that. Yeah.
No. Also, I just thought of this one, but I still swallow my gum usually, but that gum takes 7 years to digest. I'm sure everyone was told that at some point. That's not true.
Yeah.
No way that's true.
It just pooped.
What are you talking about?
Out like the next day.
The next day. Yeah. There's
7 years. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Everyone heard that.
I don't think anyone's ever died from swallowing gum.
I mean, if so, then I have an early fate because I've swallowed thousands of pieces of gum.
But like, it does seem like it kind of seems like you shouldn't do it.
But why? Because you're told that it's bad for you.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's a lie.
As a kid, yeah. And like someone just thought, like I can understand why a parent would like not want their kid to swallow gum. I guess like it's kind of like a choking risk,
right?
Or like something seems off about it. But
seems dirty, sure.
Yeah, there's something wrong, but like
the stigma. I want to stop the stigma.
Stop the stigma. Stop
that stigma. Yeah.
Yeah. I got like breakfast. Like parents never want their kids to be hungry.
Yep.
Like being hungry is so bad for you. You're trained as a kid like to think like if I'm hungry that's like a bad. But it turns out like with all the modern health, like the best thing you can do is like fast, and like being hungry is like an okay feeling, and that's something that if you want to grow up to have someone to be healthy, that you want to teach them when you're younger. Like it's okay to be hungry sometimes. Like
right.
And was that the same for you? Like I mean that's how like the
breakfast is the most well that was even like how we were taught that in school.
The food pyramid, right. And actually, B-May told me. You want to wait? Listen to this. B-May told me that, and I actually saw this on Drunk History. Like the food pyramid is like a government thing, and the person that like pushed that through with lobbying was Kellogg. Like this guy Kellogg.
I was gonna say it has to be the grains. Yes. It must be the grain business because that's the lowest.
Dude's the biggest cereal business. Lobbied to get the government to put grains as like. Grains are not that good for you, and like
well,
it's just
I mean, some of them can. Like they can be. The thing about nutrition is like. You can find 5 different scientists who are experts in the field of nutrition, and they all have 5 completely different opinions about what you should and shouldn't eat. Like there are some people who say you should just eat fruits and vegetables and meat. Some people say you shouldn't eat any meat. Some people say you shouldn't eat all meat. So there is some science to it, but we were taught like 7 servings of grains, 5 servings
Yeah.
of vegetables, 4 servings of fruit, and then also I like at the tops like, and also make sure you have your sugar. Like make sure you have your dessert every day.
Yeah, and I remember it said use sparingly, and I remember I was used to look at the food chart and I was like, that's an interesting word, sparingly. I was like, what does sparingly mean? It was like one of my first big vocabulary words I learned because it was always said. It said use sparingly, but weren't you taught like it's bad to be it's bad to like feel hunger?
Yeah, it's like for me it was more like it's the most important meal. The breakfast it's important to have a big breakfast.
It's like the least important meal of the day.
I feel way worse when I eat like an enormous breakfast.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Dude, I used to always like eggs and like bacon and like toast. Like it gives you this like the stomach, like this feeling of like kind of heftiness and like a little gassy. Like I always actually like, I liked it, but I never was a big fan.
It's good. Right.
But I thought I was like, it's healthy. I had to do it. I told my brother like 3 years ago that like bagels aren't that good for you and he like lost it. And I still want to see where you're at on this one. I told you like a couple of years ago that orange juice is not that good for you. It's like sugar.
You said it was terrible for you.
It's
but
terrible
you were saying,
for you, dude.
Yeah.
Orange juice is terrible for you. It's like soda.
It's not like soda. It's not because there's no corn syrup.
So much sugar.
That was your argument. It's a lot of sugar, but it is. I mean, so yes, I was probably in an argumentative mood, but at that point, it's like, well, what's the difference between eating an orange and drinking orange juice?
Big difference.
And I've learned that now that like a lot of the nutrition comes from like, even though orange juice might not be a good example that we argued about, but we did argue about it, but it has pulp and
oranges are good for you.
Right. So orange juice is just ground up oranges
with sugar.
No, they don't add sugar to it. That's just the sugar from the orange. No, they don't. Well, that's not my argument.
I'm talking about
pure
like
Minute
Maid.
Well, that's not. You're changing this revisionist history.
Well, no,
you're changing the argument.
All right, well, here's my thing for the case of this conversation. Like, as a kid, Minute Maid orange juice, Tropicana orange juice. Okay, it's in your fridge. It's like in a gallon can or a half gallon.
Of course.
And you think that's good for you, but it's essentially just like sugar juice.
Poison. Right. Apple juice, terrible. You know what I mean? That's
just sugar.
But it's not like you're insinuating that it's like added sugar, which usually it's not. Even if it's not. A lot of times it is. But even if it's just pure apple juice, that's still not good. That's still like a ton of sugar.
Oh, dude, and me and Shelby had a orange like squeezer, like a crusher, right, to make real orange juice. And I guess like a lot of the nutrition's in the fiber and like stuff like that. But dude, if you want to fill up a glass, like a 16-ounce glass of orange juice,
10 oranges, yeah,
it's like 25 oranges. Like I'm not even kidding. It is a massive amount of oranges to get a little bit of juice. So like, I guess if you make it all out of that, maybe it's like just the sugar. I don't know. But orange juice and like all those like breakfasty foods, like. I mean, I remember I've been tricked my whole life by packaging on labels. Like, oh, low-fat wheat thins. Oh, okay, it's low-fat. Like, I'm trying to lose a couple of pounds. I'll have these low-fat, like, Cheez-Its or whatever. Like, and then it's like fruit roll-ups, like made with real fruit. It's like, okay, it's like the packaging over the years. And people are a little smarter now, but like I was tricked my whole life. Like, I thought fruit roll-ups were good for you. I thought that like fruit snacks were good for you. Italian ice, I was like, it's not a lot of grams of fat in it. Like it was just like, it was just like, and I was like, it's just like water and sugar, like frozen up. How bad could it be for you? This is like me in like 5th grade. I was a little chubby, and I was just so confused by all the things I was taught as a kid. Like, eat your breakfast, orange juice. This is good for you. Kind of on that note, but go ahead.
No, I remember the realization I had when I was taught to read like the nutritional facts, and it was like, this many calories, all this, and then how many serving sizes. It's like 12
serving sizes.
And even as a little kid, I was like, that seems like intentionally misleading. Like, this is a individual package. Why would you? These 12 servings. There's not even 12 bites in this.
It's so ridiculous to split that up to make it. It's very misleading.
Like, how is that legal? Right.
And dude, want to know what else? I don't know if I ever talked about this before, but I am in shock that no alcohol has nutrition facts on the labels. What the hell, man? Like. Every food is required to have the label. That's why the manufacturers try to sneak it, make it 10 servings, only 2 calories or whatever. But like, why? It must have been some amazing alcohol lobbyists that.
I think it's because it's regulated by because I looked into this, regulated by the ATF versus the FDA, the Alcoholic Tobacco Firearms. So like they don't have, because they're also worried about tobacco and guns.
Interesting.
So they're like, all right, that's not their game. But yeah, that's a loophole. I mean, that's still a lobbyist thing. Like.
And maybe like the people haven't like fought against that because they're like, I don't want to know, man. Like, I need my beer or whatever.
Yeah, right.
But I really wish, like, if I'm like, if I go on a diet and I'm eating healthy, sometimes I like to mix in my wine, and I'm like, how many calories is this? I have no idea. Like, they just don't tell you, and like, it's hard to find. I've looked on the websites before to try to find it. Like, so it's like, all right, like I have no idea. Yeah, but on that note, a little bit like putting a fork in the microwave. Dude,
no, it's not. What are you talking about? That's fine.
Dude, I always put a fork in the microwave.
I've a metal fork.
Yeah, it's fine. Nothing happens.
No, I've destroyed a microwave by putting metal in it. It was foil, but this must not be real metal. There's something going on. Maybe you have a
maybe it depends on the silverware. Because I will say I've been putting silverware in. I even talked about this on like one of my early podcasts because it was about like, don't listen to what people tell you. Like, use your own like judgment. And I was like, people have been telling me my whole life not to put forks in microwaves, and I always did it, and it was fine. I thought I was like getting away with something. When I was in New Zealand, I went on a trip to New Zealand. I put a fork in the microwave. I was like, 21, and I've been doing it my whole life. And it did like set off some shocks there. And I don't know if that was like a different country.
It's very obvious when it happens. You can hear it. You can see it. It looks like it's not exploding, but it's like sparks up.
Sparks up. So I will say, like, I don't know if it had something to do with the silverware I was using, but my whole life, up from probably like 9 to 22, I put my forks and spoons and silverware in the microwave and never had an issue.
I like rarely use the microwave. I don't.
Yeah, actually, I don't that much either.
But I know, like, next time that we visit each other at your place, not at mine, I want to watch you put silverware in the microwave. All right, I'll do it. Because
I'll do it.
That shouldn't be the case. Do you have other ones? Because I have a big one that's I know for a fact is specific to me.
I actually have like one big one, but I'll run through the other like little ones I have. I have like don't steal because the cameras are watching you. Like, dude, the cameras are not watching you every single second at the store. Like, there's not a single guy back there looking at every single camera, pinpointing every, like, they're mostly there for like, if something happens, they can go back. Like, cameras used as a threat to like in stores and public places is not as true as you think. Like, don't steal, there's cameras here. Like, the camera's there's looking at you right away.
You should probably teach like don't steal because it's
yes, you should teach don't steal because it's wrong, not because there's cameras.
Right.
And I just think anything with cameras, like, ooh, there's like people are very scared.
Most of them don't even work. Like most store businesses,
and the ones that do work, there's not somebody monitoring that every single second. Right. I have Dare, like teaching kids how bad weed is. Like I said, I was never gonna smoke weed.
Sure.
I remember I used to go to the Disney store, and I truly believed that store nothing was for sale. Because it was
That's genius. That's so smart.
I really thought, yes, she said nothing here is for sale. It's just kind of for looking. And I bought it because like they had that big TV in the back and like I thought it was like a display store. Right. And I truly believed that nothing was for sale because I guess it was like too expensive. So for years, when I remember like I think it was like maybe like middle school, like 8th grade, 7th grade, there was like I saw a price tag and I was like, wait a second, like this stuff is for sale. Oh my god! The other time my mom tricked me is I would never eat. Me and my brother would never eat calamari because it was squid, and like we would never eat squid. I love calamari now, but when we moved to Chicago, I was in 6th grade, 7th grade. My brother was younger. She told us it was Chicago chicken, and so we were just hounding it down, eating it, and like we were holding little squid legs up. We had no idea. We're like, yo, we love Chicago chicken.
Chicken is so weird out here. Yeah.
We love Chicago chicken. Dipped it in the sauce. So she tricked me there.
I saw the movie Babe, and after I watched the movie Babe, I didn't want to eat any pork or ham or anything. So, and my mom would always make pork chops. So she called them chicken chops. So I ate chicken chops, nothing but chicken chops, growing up. And then when I was like, it was in high school. By the time I figured out that chicken chops were just pork chops, she just didn't want me to know that I was eating Babe.
She didn't want you to think you were eating like this nice talking pig.
Because I wouldn't eat it. Yeah.
All right. Saying you're allergic to something, I feel like people like
it's smart.
They're like, I'm allergic. I'm allergic to something, and like I feel like someone just didn't like strawberries, or like when they were 3, they had like a rash because they had like some straw. So you think you're allergic to strawberries your whole life. Like saying you're allergic to something, I feel like it's something that you're taught as a kid, and you think you're allergic, and you're like it's fine.
I think that some people lie that they're allergic because they don't like things, but like. So you're saying that food allergies don't exist?
I think some people were lied to as kids that they were allergic to a specific thing, and maybe their parents actually thought they were because they.
Yeah, why would your parents lie?
Maybe your parents were wrong. Well, maybe they were wrong, and if you ate. I guess I'm using a strawberry for an example, and you got like some type of rash, and you were like 2, and now here you are like 14, and you're like, I can't eat strawberries, I'm allergic. Like eat it again and see it. Maybe it was just a weird reaction at that time.
If you went to like an allergist, I would say if you went to an allergist and they told you that you're allergic to something, probably try to avoid it. Like there's people who are like allergic to sesame seeds, and like Lucy, my daughter, she ate peanut butter and she threw up, and then she ate peanut butter another day and she threw up, and 3 times. We're like, all right,
Yeah.
something's up here. So we took her to a doctor, and they tested her, and she's not allergic to peanuts. She just has like an intolerance. But there are tests to tell you if you're just people. Some people are born with basically antibodies against certain foods, and then when you eat the food, they reject it. But I see what you're saying.
But like if you told Lucy she's allergic to peanut butter, and then like her whole life she's avoiding peanut butter sandwiches, and then she's in like middle school, like she can have the peanut butter sandwich. You found out she wasn't allergic, and that would be something you were told as a kid that like is wrong.
Sure.
Okay. All right. What's your big one?
This is weird, but my parents used to tell me that as a kid, if you lie, that your tongue turns black, and like as a kid you don't know any better. So whenever I would say something, if they thought I was lying, they'd say, "Let me see your tongue." And if I was telling the truth, I'd proudly show it. And if I was lying, I'd show them like a little tiny little piece, so that because I thought it would be black. And obviously,
did you have a mirror?
No. Or I mean, I had a mirror, but like
did you ever test it out?
No.
Like no. And see if it turned black?
Yes, of course. And my brother and I would do it to each other, but it never really. I didn't want to test it in front of my parents. Like it's a thing that only grown-ups can see, and it's actually pretty genius, because a kid's stupid. They're not gonna. If I'm lying, I'm not gonna want you to see my tongue, so I'll just show you like a little piece of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So then they're lying. That's funny, man. Like it's funny how. Oh, so are like some of these lies? Is that like bad to do to a kid? Is that bad? Like, would you do that to your daughter? Like, is that bad parenting, or is that like a nice trick that you can laugh at when you get older?
Maybe both. Like, I guess do
you resent your mom for doing that to you?
Of course not.
Exactly.
But like ideally,
it's silly.
But did that teach, like when I found out about her, like did that teach like treat lying lightly? We're like, oh, they're lying to me about not lying. You know what I mean? Like once you learn about it. So I guess ideally it would be like, you should have like an open and honest conversation. But I mean, it's kids, so I don't know.
And that was almost their way to like actually get the truth out of you.
Right.
So then they could like teach you about truth, because they want to know if you're actually lying or not. So it was like
obviously I don't resent it at all. I think it was smart.
It's pretty funny.
Like, it's hard when you think about raising a kid, because you don't want to ever lie to him.
Right.
But you also don't want to like. You want to let them make their own mistakes. You want to make sure that you're always honest with them. But there are certain things you have to protect them from. And like as a little kid like that, I don't see any harm in that.
And like they won't. And it's almost like it's your opportunity to like take advantage of their like dumbness as a kid. Right. And like you don't have that opportunity forever. When they're older, they're hiding pot in their bedroom. That's going to be a different conversation than this. So it's like use it while you have it. And it's kind of innocent as a parent, because like. The kid's not gonna hate you for like it was just a little like trick. It's like like
right.
So I'm cool with it. It's funny. It's funny to look back on.
Yeah, agreed.
You want to know like my main one, and this is like kind of deep. It's like about perspective. And I always think about this when I look back at like home videos and stuff. It's like, all right, so when I was a kid, and I would be at like a family event with lots of aunts and uncles and their friends and everything, I thought that all adults were friends. I thought that all adults were comfortable, like, being in the same room with each other, and I just thought adults were all fine to be together. I never looked at, like, the nuances of relationships between, like, my older cousins, like, girlfriend, and my uncle. Like, it would be awkward for them to maybe ride in the car together, because they never met.
Sure.
Like, I just thought since they were adults, they were all friends. Like, I look back at this video of me as a kid, and I'm playing around, and like I see all my aunts and uncles, and like I know that they like have different political views, and they fought over politics, and I know like they must have just met each other. Or like when my mom was dating this guy Joe Steyer, he came like I would like treat the social situation accordingly, and like not maybe leave two people alone, someone that I was closer with. But as a kid, you will just like run out of the room and like leave two awkward people together because you think all adults are friends.
It's a good one. Yeah, I never really considered that, but I guess that's like the naivete or whatever.
Right.
Kids being like naive and not even considering that. And there is like a clear demarcation between adults and kids when you're a kid. It doesn't exist. But like this person, and like you would think that it happens like when you turn 18, people are like, oh, that's when you're an adult. Legally, that's when you're an adult. But in your mind, it's like that's when you become, that's a line in the sand that once you cross it, which obviously isn't the case, but that's that's true. You never really consider that like the
Right.
relationship.
And I feel like a lot of times now as an adult, I feel like a lot of times, like if you're with like I don't know, a group of family or cousins you don't see that much and there's kids around, you're all like, oh, hey, and you're all like focusing the attention on the kid in the room, kind of baby talking, having the focus be around the kid, and that's comfortable. That's fine. Then the kid runs out of the room and you're just sitting there with like this person you don't know that well.
Right.
And it's like, wait, what's that kid didn't leave? Like,
I know. Right. Yeah, that's a good point. It's funny. I never really like thought of it that way, but I think that makes sense. And you also like cater. You're just talking about this, but you cater how you act with each other when a kid's around. You know what I mean? Like if two people are fighting, a kid walks into the room, you're not going to continue the fight, and like you kind of like shelter them and treat them with kid gloves, and then when they leave, you can get back into it. But
like as a kid, you are a huge part of the social setting, but you don't know it.
Right.
And I think that's a good one. Like that was
it is. I like it.
Yeah. I had one other one. I thought my grandpa was batted 400 in the Major League Baseball up until I was like 12.
That's awesome. I'm gonna do that too. For sure.
He batted 400 in the Marines, and he played baseball in the Marines, and he was like pretty good. Like I don't think it was that like official. But I just always thought he batted 400. I dropped that to someone, so they're like, okay, so your grandpa's one of the best Major League Baseball players of all time. And I was like, into sports cards. Then. I was into sports cards then, and I started to be like, oh, okay, my grandpa. My grandpa's not Ted Williams.
Right. That's smart. I'll probably do the same thing. You know. That's fun.
Yeah, man, that's a good one, and like it'll be fun to watch. You be a dad, and like how all this like stuff comes out.
It's weird navigating the waters now. Like there's no right or wrong answer. You just have to kind of follow your intuition a little bit, which we haven't really had to do much. You know what I mean?
People have been parenting forever. What do you mean?
Right.
What'd you say about intuition? Following
like
it?
You have like up until now there hasn't been a whole lot of like guidance almost, you know what I mean? It's all about like keeping the kid healthy and alive, and then it gets to a point where she's like perceiving the world and taking things in and like
it's different
making
level
connections. So now it's like, all right, I don't want to and obviously it's overthinking it to think that you would set some crazy like fear or like long-standing like personality trait, but you have to just make sure, like, again, trust your instincts, be honest, do what's best.
It's actually not crazy to think that, because a lot of kids have like they have to go to therapy later in life to like uncover
but it doesn't
traumatic
happen,
events and stuff.
It doesn't happen by like a parent having good intentions and like maybe like doing wording something the wrong way or whatever. I don't know. It's hard to explain, but she's getting to the point where that's starting to become like another big concern is like I don't want her to be a jerk. Like I don't want her to be like a brat. You know what I mean? So like discipline has to happen, but I just like. She's like this cute little thing. I love her so much that I don't. I feel bad, like correct, but you have to correct her and stuff. So it's fun. It'll be challenging, but I'm looking forward to it. Man,
it's fun. Sweet. All right, I like that. All right, so what we're gonna do next? We're gonna bring a news story.
Yeah. Do you have one?
All right. I had a little trouble finding one, to be honest, but I got one. And you want to start off? You want me to lead off?
Why don't you go? Mine's quick.
All right. So. This picture surfaced of a newspaper magazine, and it was from like 2003, and no one can find the article. This is like a little bit conspiracy theme thing, but no one can find the article from the newspaper. But this one lady, she like kept the newspaper. This old lady, and she kept the newspaper, and. The newspaper has the headline is Bill Gates and its depopulation through forced vaccination, the zero carbon solution. So it's like an old news story about Bill Gates making a plan to like keep the population down through vaccination, and it's kind of like the conspiracy realm. And the only thing that I think is interesting about it, because I'm not a big conspiracy guy, is that this was clearly on a newspaper. And clearly in the newspaper, but the article is like vanished, and no one can find the article.
Well, like who took the picture?
So I have like a picture up of the newspaper article. It's actually dated June 2011.
Okay, so then there's no way that it would be. You can't scrub something from the internet once it's out there, even if you're Bill Gates, because people can download that and they would have it. But
I'm saying, right? Well, the newspaper is called. It's called the 9/11 investigation. So I think it might be like a conspiracy newspaper.
Sure, I would say that's probably.
But dude, I couldn't find any good news stories, and like this one is kind of interesting. Just imagine if it turns out like the vaccine is Bill Gates' plan to like keep population down. But I told you I had trouble finding one, and it was interesting that no one could find the article. But I mean, I don't really think that.
Yeah, it is. It's clearly there are a lot of like things that people that believe in this that like make sense for them. You're like, oh, that's why he's getting divorced now. You know, like like their plans finally coming to fruition. Like I don't know. It's just some of these conspiracies are just too far out there for me.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of them are jumps, and vaccines are like an interesting one because it's like putting something in your body and like. But I mean, I haven't gotten it yet, but I will. Like, I mean, I just if I can slip through the cracks, like, and everyone else gets it, like that's very selfish of me. Like I'll probably end up getting it. I just haven't like set up the appointment and gone to the store. Like done it. You have a kid and everything like that.
I've gotten it, and like I do not buy into any of the like anti-COVID stuff. Like we've been pretty like careful about everything, but I do understand why you would be hesitant to get the shot. Like I understand the concern there. Like,
well, the thing that Joe Rogan got a lot of shit for was exactly what I was thinking. It was like, yo, if you're young and you're healthy and you exercise, you eat healthy, and you're have a resilient immune system, like what's the point?
Right.
And like that's kind of, and I guess like, okay, but the other argument against that would be like, all right, if you have such a great immune system, like why not then?
Right.
Like
you can also give it to other people. That's like the big thing. Is like you won't get sick yourself, and you can give it to somebody who might die from it. But
can't you do that? Can't you do that if you can't you still carry it if you have the vaccine? Also,
I don't think so, because now you don't need to wear a mask. So I don't know. I mean, again, I don't know. I think you have to. I don't know.
Yeah,
I just don't know.
And like the COVID thing's like it's boring. It's over, which is it's coming closer to coming over, which is great.
It's annoying. Like the people that aren't letting it go are the people who are like outspoken against the vaccine. Like, all right, just shut up. Just don't.
Well, there's also people that won't let it go that love the virtue signaling of the mask. They get that power from being like. There's a lot of people that still wear masks that don't need to because like they think they're doing the right thing because they have that like moral feeling that they're getting.
Who cares? Yeah, go ahead.
I don't give a shit. Wear whatever you want to. But
that's what I mean.
Like look down at other people for not doing it.
Well, no, I'm saying the people that like anyone who's outspoken, like about that, like somebody who's outspoken about people who get the vaccine. Like, shut up. Who cares? Just don't get it.
Yeah.
Somebody who's outspoken about people who aren't wearing their mask. We don't have to anymore.
Shut up.
Just shut up. If you're outspoken against people who are wearing masks, they're a snowflake. Dude, just shut up. Why are you so concerned? Why is everyone all of a sudden everyone's so concerned with what other people are doing? Who cares? Right. It's never been like it's never ever been as bad as it is now. It's like just let it go. If they want to wear a mask, who cares? Just let it go.
I agree.
If they don't want to wear it and they don't have to, who cares?
Yeah.
It's exhausting.
Yeah. Well, I mean, then like some people like will make you wear it and stuff, and like people with nothing to do, like it's easy. It's easy to like you're like and we have them in our car, and like if you have to wear it somewhere, I'll wear it. But like. It is easy to poke holes in because like, okay, there's like a in a restaurant you can wear it when you're walking into the bathroom, but now it doesn't make any sense. So it's like easy to like poke holes in that stuff and like that kind of like makes that argument a little better. It's dude. It's worn down. It's over.
There's a lot of things in society that like don't make a ton of sense, but people just let go. Like you don't argue about it. Why does everyone needs to have their voice heard? Dude, just who cares? Like. If this is the policy wherever you are and you have to wear a mask, there's places that have dress codes. I've never seen somebody at a club like going crazy and protesting and getting off Facebook. This place wouldn't let me in because I'm wearing Timberlands. I'm not allowed to wear boots. Dude, that's the rules. If you don't like it, then they don't go in.
I actually feel like school dress codes like have been an issue in like certain towns with like PTA meetings and stuff like that. People like to bitch about stuff.
No, but never like this. Yeah, it's virtual signaling.
Well, this has been
both ways. Yeah.
Right. Agreed. So
all right, that's a good one.
Yeah, I mean that's my news story. I didn't really have anything good.
So mine's quick, but I saw Jake Paul was offered a shot at the cruiserweight title, which is like his weight class. And
that's boxing.
Mm-hmm, like he has a shot to take on the champ right now at that weight class, under the condition that if he loses, he has to retire and never box again.
Dang.
So obviously,
do boxers not like this thing that they're doing? I don't understand that because they're bringing recognition to the sport.
Yeah, but they're not really. They're bringing recognition to the people, and he's making 10 times the amount of money that they make as actual real professional boxers, and he would get destroyed. There's zero chance. Absolutely. He'll never take that. Then take the fight. If he takes the fight, I'll eat my words. If not, then all right. He wants to fight another, like, Ben Askren is a wrestler. He's not known for striking. He wants to fight another guy who's like not a boxer. Fight a boxer, and we'll see.
When's this Logan Paul Floyd Mayweather fight?
June 6th. But he's not like the boxer. He is a boxer, but he's not. But I think his brother. I think Jake Paul's like legitimately a good boxer.
I'm just a little confused, but I don't pay that close of attention to like all of this like celebrity fighting stuff. I think it's kind of cool, but like Floyd Mayweather, he's like the best boxer of all time. What's the gig?
Fight.
Okay, so like if Floyd loses, which he's still like
no. There's different rules. It's like 3 rounds, no headshots. You have to wear headgear. It's like a different. It's like what Mike Tyson and what's his name did.
George Foreman. Was that who it was?
George who?
Roy Jones. George. Oh yeah, Roy Jones.
No, it's like different rules. It's an exhibition fight, but he's doing it because they're gonna make like $50 million.
Yeah,
it makes
power to him.
Yeah, I could understand being a boxer and hating on it because you're like,
it's against your craft boxer. Or whatever.
No, it's just like
it's like against it's making your sport look bad. Jealousy.
It's just making a mockery of it, and like, how is this guy making so much more money than I'm making, and I'm actually like a champ.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's
I mean,
his prerogative.
Boxing has not been as popular as it used to be. So like, do something, man.
Well, I think that's the MMA.
Right, they kind of took over the combat sport thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm never a big fan of it, but you watch like MMA fights when they're on.
Sometimes
like,
I watch like the big ones. I think we've talked about it before, where it can be hard to watch. To be honest with you, like it's brutal. Guys who are like knocked out cold and they're still getting like somebody jumps on them and just like keeps beating their face. Like like maybe I'm soft, but it can be hard to watch sometimes. But I do like watching it. That's true. It's brutal, dude. It's like face kicks and stuff.
Yeah.
But especially recently, I have been watching them, and I kind of like it. Like I look away, and then I watch the slow-mo replay and watch his teeth get knocked out.
All right. So, all right, we're gonna do David's video of the week.
Oh yes. All right. Awesome. I forgot. This is a short and sweet one, but it gave me like some nostalgia.
So you take great pride in your ability to find funny videos on the internet. And when we did the 10 episodes in a row before, you'd always find some funny ones. And you said you got a good one.
I do.
You said it's short, and you were dying laughing.
Yeah, it's like, I think it's absolutely hilarious. I could be alone. I could be alone in that, but I guess we'll see.
All right, well, we'll see.
All right. Let me share my screen. Oops, hold on. Let me unshare.
Trust your teacher.
All right, so this is clearly some...
So us teachers would never ask you students to do anything we wouldn't do ourselves.
Holy crap! What is happening? I didn't know you were... She's... Oh my God.
So...
Wait, was the guy supposed to hold it?
Yeah, but look, he's
so
like putting the girl behind
would
it.
Never ask you students to do anything we wouldn't do ourselves.
Holy crap! What is happening? I didn't know you were... She's... Oh my God.
Oh my God, dude, it's so good. And I love like the message. Like they're at some ropes course probably, maybe disadvantaged kids or like, misbehaving kids. Like, well, we're never gonna ask you to do something we want. She's supposed to fly off gracefully. You know what I mean? But
so us teachers would never ask you students to do anything we wouldn't do ourselves.
Holy crap! What is happening? I didn't know you were... She's...
She set up the camera. She practiced her line. She got it all set up right.
And she sells out. She sells out. She doesn't, not an ounce of her is trying to catch herself. Not a little bit of hesitation. She completely sells out.
Like as far as like a trust fall, like she trusted it. Like she trusted,
have you ever done something like that? Like she belly flopped to the ground? Dude, that hurts so bad. And you get the wind knocked out of you. Listen to the noise.
I can't say
one last time.
Play it again. Yeah.
So us teachers would never ask you
this
students
noise
to do anything we wouldn't do ourselves.
Holy crap! What is happening? I didn't know you.
Oh, dude, I love it so much.
The guy said, "What is happening?" You know what
Oh my
happened.
God.
You missed your cue.
Yeah, one job. You're hooked in. Like, what is happening? What do you think?
What is happening? Yeah, you were just supposed to hold it. Like, what the hell?
I love that
Oh
video.
man, that's good, dude. I was actually thinking about your other funny videos of the week, and like the one where the lady gets picked up in the helicopter and spins
No,
around.
that's all timer. That's like
That's
the hardest
good,
I've
man.
laughed in years. But this one had me like in stitches.
All
was
right.
good.
Yeah, that's good. All right. So Brandon, for good old time's sake, we're gonna do the most popular segment from the 70s. Brandon's
70s.
Big Bites.
Big words.
Brandon's Big Bites.
All right, I got y'all's two of the weirdest questions I ever thought in my life. Are y'all ready?
All right. We are ready.
All right. Don't judge me.
Okay.
Never.
Are y'all,
No
not-
judgment.
are y'all gonna judge me? Yeah.
No judgment here.
No judgment. It's good
Okay.
content.
All right. First one. I've been thinking about this for a week since y'all are talking about bringing David back on. And all right, I don't know why I thought about it. All right, both of y'all, you have to answer this. It's a would
All
you
right.
rather. All right, so would you rather slap a random baby with cancer or pee on your wife if she was into that?
I mean, that's
You've
for
been
me.
thinking
That's
about
a
this for a
no-brainer.
week. I mean, if
Yeah.
your wife is into it,
Right. That's it. It's got to be the pee on my wife, especially if she's
Yeah.
into it. Even
Yeah,
if she
she's
even
into
if she was like very much against it, I would do that before slapping a baby, especially a sick one.
so yes, I would also do the second one because she's into it. Like, I don't know, it doesn't really affect me. Like, she wants to be peed on, I'll pee on her. Especially,
I probably would do it if she was into it. You know what I mean? With no other if that was something that.
I don't want to slap a baby.
Wanted, right.
I don't want to slap a baby, especially if like the baby's sick. Yeah, the baby's sick. You've been thinking about that for a week.
I was trying to think of the second half. So the pee on your wife thing wasn't like the official one.
You've been thinking
was
about
like-
slapping sick babies for a week.
I was trying to compare like something where you had to make a hard choice,
Mm-hmm.
and I couldn't think of. I was thinking about some like peeing on like someone who's dead that you hate.
It could be like,
And-
or just being like on a enormous stranger, a
Okay.
train box. You know what I mean? That would be a harder decision, I think. Like going to pee on Mike Tyson. or something.
I would absolutely get stage fright. Like,
True.
I-
All right, so like, would you rather slap a random baby with cancer or pee on a homeless man who is sleeping?
all right, that's better actually.
Yeah,
Yes,
much
yes,
better.
yes.
That's
Okay.
much
I
better.
wanted to
That's
make it a
much
little harder
better.
for you to
That's much
choose.
better.
I would still choose the homeless guy. I wouldn't. It wouldn't feel right slapping the
Dude.
baby. No, I mean the baby's sick. Like, no, that's
I'm going.
not.
I think okay. So obviously, like, I would not do either of these things. If I had to do one of these two things and like my life depended on it, I would have a lot of trouble with a homeless one because, like, I would probably not. I'd have to stand there for like 20 minutes. It would probably take me like 8 minutes to work up the courage to pee because I don't know if that guy's gonna wake up. Like, and I'm kind of in public because he's outside. So like, it would be a lot more of like I don't know if someone's gonna walk by because this man's homeless, so he's on the street, and I would have a lot of trouble with peeing on a random homeless man for those reasons. And if I slapped a baby, like it could just be a little tiny slap. It just could be like interpreted for
that's-
like a little pat on the cheek.
No, that's not true. Because that's like saying that could be a little like drip. Use one dribble of pee on the guy. You know
Either
what
way,
I mean?
either way, I gotta whip it out, and like, it's hard. I mean, and you take the risk of like, I guess it kind of depends on what the settings are. Like if you put me like in the middle of a field and like this, I know this guy's like passed out cold for the next 5 hours. It's different.
Right.
Also, like what is going to be the ramifications? I'm not going to hurt this kid.
It's a controlled setting where like the homeless guy is there and the baby is right to the side of.
And like,
Yeah.
are people going to like shame me for either one? Because in that case,
Yeah,
I'll take
like
the
an
pee on.
audience
In that
is
case,
watching,
in that case,
you
I'll
have to
pee on
make
the
a
homeless
decision.
man.
You
Because
get
obviously,
shamed
it's
hard for either, but the one's like unforgivable. No, nobody gets more benefit of the doubt than a sick child, rightfully so. You know what I mean? Like,
innocent homeless man sleeping.
but like a sick innocent baby. Like, there's no comparison there. Nothing. Nobody's gonna get as much sympathy as that. In my opinion.
Yeah.
I wanted to make it a little hard, so
Yeah, I mean that
Well,
that is
What
That
would you
is
do,
hard.
Brandon?
For some reason, I would pick the baby.
I think I would pick the baby too. I know it sounds terrible.
What? That's crazy.
I know it sounds terrible, but like, well, okay, again, it depends. It depends on the setting. But I would not hit him that hard. I'd just slap him.
But that
or
doesn't,
just touch their face.
That's not. I feel like that's not fair. Like it has to be. If you're just touching their face, then he's not saying, "Would you rather touch a baby's face or?"
Okay.
You have to like. I mean, this is a wind up smack where like
I have to do it as hard as I can.
Is that baby okay? Maybe not
as hard as I can.
But you have to like really slap him. Yeah.
Like it's gonna hurt the baby.
For sure.
All right. Well, then I'll probably
maybe not like injure, but hurt. Like they won't be injured, but they'll be hurt.
Like
you'll leave a mark. Like you'll be able to tell this baby got slapped.
All right, Brandon picked the baby. Dude, I don't know. I'm just gonna be bold. This is a podcast. We're not actually doing it. I'm just picking. I'm picking the baby. Toughen him up. Toughen him up a little bit.
Yeah. Okay, I got a second one. All right. I'm just gonna say that you could be multiple things, but this is like the first thought. If you were a cannibal, what celebrity would you want to eat the most, or a person? You can do a person, but yeah.
The Rock.
Okay.
The Rock.
The Rock. Well, I think like
why you gotta say why?
Because like it isn't all about like I think when you eat meat, you're eating the muscle. So you want somebody who's like lean but very muscular, and yeah, I think the Rock is jacked. He's a celebrity.
Don't you want like a fat like pig? Like if you're having bacon
like
or
the
something?
steak. The steak. Well,
bacon's different.
The fat part is good. Like
yeah, but you're not eating. The actual meat part is. So I see what you're saying. You'd want somebody.
I actually got barbecue last night at this place that Shelby's dad loves, and there was brisket, and there was lean brisket, and there was fatty brisket. There was like two different ones.
What'd you go for?
I picked the lean one, but Shelby's dad, who's like an expert on like barbecue food and everything, like he's like the fatty one's the better one.
Right. That's what they say. I
Wise.
guess also like the alpha about being able to say that you ate the Rock. Like it's hard to.
Yeah. So my question is like, okay, as somebody who's like eats cows or whatever, like I don't care which cow, like I don't take is part of it like taking the power of like I ate this person
for sure.
So you want to eat someone that's like you want to eat somebody that's like admired and loved by everyone. I'm sure that'll be a big hit.
Or somebody who's hated by everyone.
You picked the Rock, who's loved by everyone.
Right.
That's the route you went. I would probably want to go more of the route of someone that everyone hates. It's not like the evilness is baked into their food. It's just food. So I would take I don't know who's the most evil person out there. I'll take some ISIS
Kim Jong-il or something.
Terrorist. I don't know, Kim Jong-il. I don't know. He's pretty bad, but I feel like he's not the worst person on the planet.
It's debatable. Putin.
Also, if King Jong-il is gone, you don't know what's gonna happen with that country. There might be like a vacuum or something.
I think his system takes over. They say.
I'll eat like an evil person. I'll eat like I guess I got to name an evil person now. I'll eat Jeffrey Epstein's wife.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Ghislaine. She's not his wife, but
Ghislaine Maxwell or whatever.
I'll eat her. Real quick? Did you see that? How much evidence they submitted? They submitted over 1 million pages of evidence. Wow. And somebody has to read that. 1 million pages. You know how long it takes to read 1,000 pages? 1 million pages.
It's not even like a realistic number. It's like it's like a homework assignment. Like they'll never get done.
Get started.
They'll probably scan a little bit.
They'll probably stop after like 16, 17 pages. Like,
imagine being like the Xerox printer that had to like print that out.
Right. Don't you think after 60 pages, 70 pages, like she's definitely guilty. Like I don't think
they should at least like take like the periods and shrink them down, shrink the spaces down, do like a font, right. Make like the column smaller. Yep. Dude, she's guilty. Like I'll be curious to see if she kills herself or whatever in jail. I don't really know that whole story that well, but she's bad, so I'll eat her. And want to know one of my takes on this is like I feel like humans are probably delicious. Why wouldn't they be? Now, one thing I can understand is that you don't want to open up the floodgates of eating humans at all.
Sure.
Like that's not something that society wants to do. Like there's probably times where we could like justify trying it or something, and it's on like a late night show, but like we don't want to open those floodgates because I think there's some like elitist out there, someone who knows about it tries it. I bet you it's delicious.
Do you think monkeys are delicious?
Oh, I never had it.
But like,
But
does your gut tell you that they are, or are
no,
not?
my gut doesn't tell me that they are.
So that would be the closest thing, right?
But they don't have like well, first of all, like they don't have like fat, and they have like tails and like.
You're talking about
like
monkeys don't have fat.
humans have more like fat and muscle than monkeys. I think.
Yeah, I would go
talking
ahead and say that monkeys definitely have certainly more muscles than humans because they're literally spend their entire life swinging and pulling themselves up on trees and stuff. The fat, maybe, but I would also.
Okay, but that's a good point though about like right, a monkey's comparable. Do you think it'd be good? I mean, monkey meat, is that a thing?
I think that's now. Is that how in the movie Outbreak how it started? People eat monkeys. I don't know. I would stay away from
the universally eaten meats are cows, chicken, and pigs, right? Like everyone's kind of okay with that. Not
Fish.
everyone, but fish, like, and they are all pretty good. And like, why doesn't people eat like rhinos? Is it because they're more rare?
Probably. I mean, those. I guess white rhinos are endangered, but yeah, they're more rare. Like cows are plentiful, chickens are plentiful. You know what I mean? Rhino. I think there's like 10,000 rhinos in the world. So that, and maybe that has always maybe they've always
maybe that's
been
part of it.
rare.
But if that's the situation, if that's the case, we're not factoring in how delicious it is.
Sure. Yeah.
Humans would be the last one that we would ever justify eating. So I just think there's a chance it's delicious. I don't know.
There's certainly a chance. Certainly a chance. I would say that. Like I don't.
We get all these grains and nutrients, and like we're well fed, and like there's a chance they're absolutely delicious.
There's certainly a chance. I would never argue that, but my gut tells me it's just not. Be like gross. I don't know.
Who you eating, Brandon? Who you eating?
Maybe I'm wrong.
I think you're wrong. My instinct is it's right or it's delicious.
You asked me who I would eat.
Who you eating?
My first thought was Rikishi, the WWE wrestler. I don't know why.
The guy who like puts his like ass in the corner of the ring.
Yeah,
and,
I wasn't thinking too deep about it, but other than that, yeah. I got one more.
Okay, hit it.
Would you rather bet all your savings, on the Bitcoin dip, or protecting yourself for the alien invasion?
I guess for me,
because y'all know they released the alien stuff.
So for me, two things. One, I've always believed and been terrified of aliens, but I don't think that there's anything like I think if aliens are going to come, then like they're already way advanced and they have nothing that we could do would be able to protect myself. You know what I mean? So I'd rather invest the money, even if Bitcoin continues to crash. At least there's some return on investment versus buying like a shelter or something that I think will be insufficient to protect against the superior race.
That's a good point. You spend time and money protecting yourself, and for all you know, they can go through walls.
Right.
You don't know.
Exactly.
So it's like a pointless. It's a pointless activity because you have no idea what form they will come in, what abilities they have, if it's even necessary. Maybe they come in, they're friendly. So it's like very useless. I mean, I think Bitcoin is still a great investment, and I'm not investing right now. But like, if I were, like, I'll probably throw like 5-10K in there. That is down. I think it's still the future. I think nothing differently about what I thought about it before. So I'll put my savings in Bitcoin out of those two things.
Always been volatile. We've like always talked about
exactly. That. Like it's always been volatile. Look at the chart. Like it's just a dip. What
do you think about Elon Musk like manipulating it so significantly?
I think that Elon Musk is manipulating it like just to get like his giggles off, like his rocks off.
I think he's doing it to make money for
or to make money. Yeah, like
I mean, they put millions and millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars into it. They basically pumped and dumped himself.
Well, he
just
does
doesn't
dump. He just says different stuff all the time.
Right.
Like no one knows how much Tesla put into Bitcoin. He just said we put money into it, and then I guess they're a public company. I don't know if you're like available to see their balance sheets or whatever.
I think they put,
but like. Yeah. He said they like sold it, then he's like, no, we didn't sell it, we didn't sell all of it. Like he's being very vague about it. And I think his thing with Dogecoin is like a practice to see how much he can like manipulate it by his own his own personal comments and everything like that. And then if he's trying to lower it, then it's a good opportunity for everyone. He's buying more. I mean, but like if you actually look at it, like Elon Musk aside, like This is just like any stock that's like public and there's like bad
No, but
news
it's
out
not
there.
because it's unregulated. That's the thing. Like what this is going to end up leading to is somehow like regulators getting involved. Because
How
like
would this lead to that? How would this lead to regulators getting involved?
because like if you say you're a billionaire, you
Okay.
could buy. Say you bought $100 million worth of Bitcoin right now. What would happen
Yeah.
to the price?
I don't know.
Wouldn't it increase?
I guess.
So-
I mean,
Right?
I guess.
Isn't that how it works? Like
If
the
more
demand
people
goes up, the
buy,
price
if
can go up.
more people buy, it'll go up. Yeah, I don't know if my
Right.
one transaction would raise it, but okay. If more people
So
buy,
say-
it goes up. Okay.
Yeah, say you split it up into 1,000 different brokerages, 100 different brokerages, whatever.
Okay.
Bought a bunch of Bitcoins, price goes
Okay.
up, and then you sell it all for a profit, and then the price goes
Okay.
back down. So you can like manipulate the price like that. So like the reason there's many reasons that the stock market's regulated, but that's one of them. They stop companies from doing that.
Yeah, but companies are allowed to make statements. Like
What
they're
do you
not
mean?
allowed to inside. They're not allowed to like you're saying. Elon Musk is talking about. He's saying stuff that's and like his talking about it, his tweets and his public comments are affecting the price because people trust his opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Companies are allowed to say like, on McDonald's, we got this new burger coming out. It's going to be the best burger ever. Like you're allowed to say things to manipulate the public.
I mean, he
You're not
got in
allowed
trouble
You're
for
not allowed to insider trade.
He got in trouble for tweeting Tesla's stock is way overpriced. Remember that? I think he's still getting like. I'm sure he's been
that was he never got charged or anything like that. It was like the SEC like looked into it, or like some people
Right.
made like stories about it. Like insider trading is always a fine line. It's a very
Right.
like touchy line.
But you can do it with Bitcoin. He could
guess.
he could do what he did, pump a bunch of money into it, and then whether or not he's
Well, he wouldn't want to pump money into it and then talk it down. He would.
well, he
wanna
could if
pump money
after he
into it,
sold,
talk it up.
he could pump a bunch of money into it, sell, and then say that say everyone should sell Bitcoin, and a lot of people would, and then buy
it again.
The same thing,
Yeah,
right?
I mean, yeah,
Which is
I
kind of
guess
what
he
he's
could.
doing, allegedly.
I
What
mean,
y'all
I could,
think about?
I could see him doing that. Yeah.
What y'all think about his SNL like sketches?
I thought it was funny, man. I thought it was funny. Did you watch all of it?
No, I watched some of it, but I will say that in the last episode with Michael Key, the Last Dance skit was like
It was really
the
good.
only funny thing that I've seen come from SNL in like years. I thought it was great.
I thought it was really good. But as far as Elon, like I thought he was pretty funny because he's not funny. Like he's not, and like that almost works on SNL. Like I thought Eli Manning was good on SNL because he's just like, oh, and
He's kind
there
of
was a
funny.
couple.
Eli Manning's kind of funny.
There was a couple like cringeworthy skits with Elon Musk, but I thought the best one was when he was Wario in the courtroom. Did you guys see that one?
Yeah. I saw
Dude, that was funny. That was funny. He was like, "Ooh," and he was just like making silly faces with like the big mustache being Wario. That one was good. And I think the best one was Chad, where it was like Pete Davidson, like got his head taken off because he was like, but that one was pre-recorded and it was cool because it was like Elon Musk playing himself and they're taking over Earth. I think overall it was good for his brand, and I thought overall it was pretty funny, and it was just cool. It was cool to see. It was like I feel like it was like must-watch TV because he's just always in the news and you want to see what he's going to say. And it's interesting seeing someone like that in the public spotlight doing something like skit acting. And overall, like it was some bad ones, but it was just goofy and funny. And I liked it. I liked it a lot.
What did you think about the cast? Like the week off.
I think that story was overblown.
Yeah, I hope so. Because
No one really said anything.
You don't think anyone? Well, so where did that come from? You think you just made up?
The one guy said like Elon Musk said like we'll see how live SNL really is, and then like one of the cast members was like what does this mean or something like that.
Okay.
And then like someone was like mad that there was like a tweet saying like Elon Musk is like a billionaire and like that's bad for people, and like one of the cast members like liked the tweet. It was very minimal things. It was a little overblown. It probably helped get publicity to get the show.
Yeah.
What do you think, Brandon? What's your take on the crypto and the Bitcoin at the moment?
I know someone, and you know someone
Okay, I know
that
you're talking about.
like he lost like a lot of money. Like
Yeah.
he bet against the hedge. I don't know what that like meant. Like
He bet that was gonna go up.
yeah. So
Well, he was telling me that Walmart's gonna buy it and like it's gonna go up. But dude, I mean, I lost money
leave
too.
your money
I own 2.4 Bitcoin. Like I own a lot, and like, dude, I'm not affected by it all. I'm just holding.
You also didn't like whoever this is hasn't lost money until he gets out. So just Stay the
I don't know
course.
if he did like a different type of
Oh,
transaction.
unless
He did like a bet. He
bet that it was gonna go up, so like that money's
Yeah.
gone or something like that.
What do you mean a bet?
It's like
Yeah.
it's like
I don't know.
was it like a short or like a
Yeah.
a
You
hedge
can
or
short
like
Bitcoin.
there's certain apps
Oh.
that like allow you to make different
Okay.
types of transactions or financial things. It's like what's it called in like with the stock market? It's you can like it's like not a short but like it's like a what's the word? It's like a you can buy like half of it and like bet if it goes up or down. It's like people that get real into it. Someone out there's listening that knows exactly what I'm talking about. But it's like there's a lot of different ways to like play the day or like go up and down, like watch this and that. Like there's a lot of ways to do it like that where you can do different little ways to bet on it. And he did something like that. It's basically anything with investing. It's like you buy something, you believe in it for the long term. If it goes down, you say, do I still believe in this for the long term? If you do, then it's just, hey, can you stomach it? Can you stomach it?
Right.
And like,
Right.
so I don't even care. Like I still believe in it long term. If I had some money on the sidelines right now, I'd probably buy a little more. But I can stomach it. It's fine. It'll go back up. It goes up and down. You can't be affected by the day-to-day basis of it. That's the main lesson of investing. It's don't be affected by day-to-day moves.
Right.
Yeah. I'm gonna buy the dip. So yeah.
You're gonna buy the
There you
dip?
go.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
I mean,
what
I honestly think it's like kind of a good move. And then what if you buy the dip and it goes down even more? Are you gonna freak out?
No, don't freak out.
Yeah. It's got to be money that's investment money that you're, if something happens that you don't believe that's going to be the future anymore, then you can like make a decision on that. But if you have the same beliefs but it just goes down, just got to stay steady.
Yes, sir.
All right. There's some good big bites.
Yeah,
it's like
I'll bring
I
it.
loved it. Brought me
Yeah.
back. Those are maybe
Yeah,
the best
man.
bites of all time, in my
the
opinion.
biggest bites.
Yeah.
You always remember slapping a cancerous baby or peeing on a homeless man. So.
Peeing on your wife who wants you to. Yeah, dude. All right, man. Whew, it's been it's like 2 hours, but
Long one, but
yeah, man,
it's great.
This is fun.
Freaking
We
back,
did the
man.
10 episodes in a row. We got the rhythm. We kind of got it. We had kind of got to get our rhythm down a little bit. We got it rolling. But this is episode 98, and yeah, I mean, maybe every once in a while, bring it back on. You could be a reoccurring guest. But dude, this is
Have the
always so much.
equipment.
This is always so much fun. It's
Yeah,
always so
I
much
always have a
fun.
blast. 100 though. Good. I mean, big podcast coming up. Two
Yeah,
more.
big milestone. Dude, big milestone.
That's awesome, man. I know it was something that you promised to yourself, and
I promised to
You
myself.
got
I
there.
have if I want to, I have the right to quit at 100 because I told
as
myself
long as you
from day
don't
one,
die in the next 2 weeks, then
right.
you should be good.
I should be okay.
All right. Well, knock on wood.
All right. Well, thanks everyone for listening. Whoa, there's echo there. This is it's been episode 98. David Hecker. Follow him at David Hecker something. I don't know what your Instagram is, but Brandon,
either.
you're the man. And all right, peace out.
Adios.